In the competitive space of extraction shooters, everyone is looking for an edge. Teams will create unique worlds, must-have weapons, or intriguing tweaks to the gameplay loop that developers hope players find irresistible. But Arc Raiders has unlocked the secret that was maybe right in front of us all along. It's the players themselves and how you can foster a magical community experience that ultimately outweighs any back-of-the-box feature a studio could dream up. Emergent player interactions are the lifeblood of Arc Raiders, a multiplayer game that rewrites its genre in remarkable ways. I have never played a game in the genre that's as unpredictable, thrilling, and perhaps most surprising of all, hopeful. In Arc Raiders, the world as we know it has ended, with climate catastrophe and AI overlords combining the 1-2 punch that sends humanity living subterraneously in a civilization called Speranza. In order to better their lives and those of their community members, some citizens choose to become Raiders, the daring few who return topside to scavenge for precious resources like weapons, medicines, and relics of the old world. The gameplay loop of Arc Raiders is one built on the risk-reward element every extraction shooter focuses on. Played in third person, players will suit up from a safe space with weapons and items of their choosing, drop into a PvPvE landscape, seek out quests, resources, and challenges, and then get home safely or die trying. The enemy robots kill on sight, while the other players won't always be so merciful. When players die mid-round, they lose everything in their inventory, perhaps even to another player picking through their pockets post-mortem. It's this worst-case scenario that has always made the genre so tense and enjoyable, but Arc Raiders takes it to amazing new heights thanks to a community that has, at least so far, mostly opted into the fantasy of its fiction. Arc, the system of robot enemies that has claimed Earth from humanity, is everywhere, and each of the many types of Arc machines you'll come across is impressively smart. Snitch drones will give up your location to a pack of wasps that immediately come screeching down to Earth, ready to kill you. Duck inside and they'll peer in via different windows and angles, often finding the exact approach they need to shoot you behind your makeshift cover. Bigger machines like the Rocketeer drone, the Simon Stolenhog-esque Leaper, and the AT-AT-like Bastion are so formidable that no single raider should take them on alone. Their mere image is intimidating, and their actual arsenal is much worse. Every firefight feels exciting. There are no simple rote encounters where I easily dispatch a few robots. They always demand thoughtful planning and skillful execution. One without the other isn't enough. In Arc Raiders, death is easy for anyone who doesn't choose stealth and guerrilla tactics. This meshes perfectly with the game's story. You are outgunned and outnumbered, but the Arc threat can't account for your spirit of perseverance. I think it's for this reason that people have largely been helpful in my dozens of hours. The world is unkind, but its people largely aren't. Yes, you'll encounter some ne'er-do-wells on your travels. Play long enough and you'll be betrayed, ambushed, and robbed right down to the last metal scrap in your pocket. But much more often, you'll find people banding together, helping each other out, and taking the fight to the true enemy. I've never seen an extraction shooter where players come together like they do in Arc Raiders. In my 39 hours and many matches, I've only been killed by another player a few times, and I've killed none. Though the threat of deception and ruthlessness is always present, I've chosen to trust my fellow Raiders, and it's almost always paid off. There are few thrills as memorable as when a game's entire Raider population joins forces and takes down an Arc Queen. The game's optional proximity chat goes a long way toward creating this culture.
Oh my god, it's a fort!
Oh shit.
What the hell?
What's up, guys?
Being able to call out to strangers, sharing your space, and talk down potential gunfights or give them reassurances really seems to humanize community members to one another. The robots are the bad guys. I can't tell you how many times I've told other players this in my time playing Arc Raiders. Usually, they agree. The game's quests and open world help further establish this communal aspect. When quests often give you only some basic information regarding where you need to go to complete them, you end up relying on other players for guidance. Many times in my travels, I've helped or been helped by other raiders because we were seeking out a particular resource or the place where we need to complete a quest. It gives the game's 4 maps a strong, irresistible sense of lived-in space. You'll come to know places like the buried city like the back of your hand, so when someone with good intentions asks for help, you can point them in the right direction, or perhaps even team up on the fly and work together until everyone gets home safely. Once I came upon a roof I needed to patch, and another player was doing the same quest. We swapped stories and supplies, then wished each other luck and went about our way. What was stopping us from killing each other to ransack the other's backpack? In things like Escape from Tarkov, Hunt Showdown, or Vigor, 3 other extraction shooters I enjoy, I'm incentivized either by the game's scarcity system or culture, or both, to do exactly that. Gun him down and take what was his. Arc Raiders seems to be rejecting that kind of culture so far, and it brings me closer to other players. As careful as I try to play, I've jumped into many a skirmish with Arc just because I heard my fellow Raiders taking them on. I didn't need to help, but I wanted to. You can revive anyone in your group of up to 3 players simply by interacting when they're knocked down, but for those outside of your formal group, you need a defibrillator. I've taken to carrying 1 or 2 with me every round, and I even stash them in my safe pocket, which is the one inventory space that can't be lost or looted upon death. I have found myself so motivated to do my part in bettering humanity's fight against the machines that I'm actually giving this simple healing item preferential treatment over things like epic tier keys that unlock some of the best, hard-to-reach rooms in the world. I'd rather be there for someone in need, and I get the sense this is true of many players in Arc Raiders.
I think you're good now.
All of this is presented in a setting that feels something like an exciting space western. Each of the game's 4 open-world maps at launch offers a different vibe and color palette. There's the swampy dam battlegrounds, the sand-drowned buried city, the desert expanse of Spaceport, and the lush, rolling green hills of the Blue Zone. Each map feels richly decorated in history, with the world telling a collective story of humanity's brief, temporary victory against Ark some years ago. Now, the machines are back, and exploring a world ravaged by 2 wars with machines like this one brings layers to the environmental storytelling. I was recently doing a quest that taught me about husks, a gargantuan machine type that no longer exists, but was more formidable than all the others combined. I wondered, maybe feared, that these would rise again in Arc Raiders one day. But I also grew hopeful at what kind of community building taking down one of these behemoths would necessarily demand. If husks do come back, I bet we'll be ready to face them together.
Everybody in?
Here we go.
Next stop, Speranza.
Arc Raiders is an excellent third-person shooter. The intensely smart enemies provide a consistent challenge, and careful movement patterns between things like a busted plane fuselage and a makeshift shack are key, like a guerrilla fighter attacking, then darting back into the jungle, be it concrete or natural. When things do pop off, the game's many guns feel distinctly different and lend themselves to careful inventory management. Some guns are better for robots, piercing their armor more effectively, while others are powerful against humans, but less helpful against the Arc threat. This makes it so that each player and team always thinks about what to bring into a round. You'll never know exactly what you'll face in a mission, but your best guess is as reliable a starting point as any. Reloading often takes precious time, meaning shots have to be precise. On Arc enemies, some soft auto-aim lends you a hand, but it also demands you fine-tune it when, say, an Arc drone is strafing quickly side to side. Gunplay is collectively as much mental as it is physical as a result. For the spheroid explosive and incendiary bots, fireballs and pops, respectively, you have 2 choices. Nail your first shot or run like hell. Luckily, gunplay is polished and reliable, so you'll always feel like it's your own costly mistake when one sneaks up on you and you panic fire into the ground behind them. Upgrading and modding weapons goes deep too, with many interchangeable parts that you can move between guns, drilling down on that DIY feeling that the community in Speranza lives by. Beyond the guns, the game has a great number of cool tools, such as deployable zipline that has saved my life a few times. Something like a dozen different kinds of grenades and explosives, a door jammer that could temporarily keep enemies of metal or flesh out of a space for a moment, and a high-end grappling hook item that I haven't seen anyone use yet but was featured in my recent press preview a week before launch. Once the community starts to get their hands on this thing, the already gone viral game will achieve new levels of "look what I can do" because it's so much fun to use it. This communal, DIY, guerrilla warfare aspect of the game further enhances the combat too. Enemies tend to have specific weaknesses, but these aren't as obvious as your typical glowing spots on a video game boss. Instead, they require experimentation and teamwork. Once I came upon a kind raider who informed me not only of a great loot stash nearby, but also taught me how to effectively take down a leaper by disabling it with a shock grenade, then tossing a Molotov-like bomb into a port that temporarily opens while it's immobilized. Come upon someone who doesn't mean you harm in Arc Raiders, and you'll often leave with more than your life spared and some positive feelings.
You guys know where I can find rustic fucking gears? I can't find any of these fucking cars.
While these unscripted moments are the best part of Arc Raiders, the game's supreme audio design isn't far behind. Brought to life in part by former Battlefield developers, it's no wonder that Arc Raiders' audio got to be so good. Each round tells a story that you could understand even with your eyes closed. Head into a region and you can hear raiders being spotted by snitches atop a parking garage, a crash arc probe sending out echoed bleeps and bloops that sound like an alien language in the far-off sands, and suddenly a warring arc bastion taking on a legion of raiders who have, spoken or unspoken, banded together to take down the mechanical beast. These cues aren't just richly layered, but also instructive. Guns deliver thunderous cracks through the air, while in quiet moments you can listen closely to someone rummaging through loot in the room next door. It's for all of those things that Arc Raiders does so brilliantly that I'm only left wanting in two relatively minor ways. For one, the character creator lacks a significant number of options, especially when it comes to hairstyles. It's clear that more options are coming as the game goes on, as a few options are for sale in the in-game shop right now, or unlocked in the game's Battle Pass system called Decks. The game needs more free options added though, because what's there for this massive community at launch is too restricted. For all the unique characters I've met playing Arc Raiders this week, there's been too little variety in their appearance beyond the clothes they've worn. Somewhat similar to this point is the hub of Speranza. There's no MMO-like hub here where players can interact with each other off missions or explore Speranza and talk to other characters. I find this structure dampens the richness of Speranza and keeps the hub from forming the same kind of memorable experiences that the rest of the game does so well. This simplistic space feels like it could be a placeholder for something more elaborate someday, but for now, it feels antithetical to the sense of community Arc Raiders is building. In the animated menus of Speranza, listen closely to the loudspeakers and you'll hear hints of a greater world that we can't quite see today, though it's one of those hints that I find emblematic of the community's unique ethos. A woman addresses the community, reminding denizens that literacy is mandatory. I gave it pause when I first heard that. Rarely have I seen a post-apocalyptic setting with such a hopeful spirit. Here's a community that saw its world to an effective end, but it's still fighting to get it back. The people of Speranza aren't living in a dystopia under a brutal dictator. They haven't lost their humanity. They are clinging to it. It's the one thing that Arc can't take from them. To see the game's community come together and, without prompting, continue in this tradition is a fascinating case of game design meeting world design by way of emergent player-driven outcomes. We can all kill each other in Arc Raiders. The fact that most of us are choosing instead to lend a helping hand, if not a sign that humanity will be alright in the real world, at the very least makes for one of the best multiplayer games I have ever played.